Welcome to Fight News Now Extra. I am John Pollock alongside John Ramdeen and Robin Black. The UFC heads into Melbourne, Australia, a part of the world they've been trying to get into for a long time where cage fighting had been banned in that particular state. However, the fight is going down at Etihad Stadium. 2 championship fights, Ronda Rousey, Holm, and then we've got Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Valerie Letourneau. I think a very smart pairing that Ronda Rousey is going to bring a lot of interest, and hopefully some of that transfers over to Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Not all that different from what Bellator is attempting to do, where you have your stars and hopefully that's going to trickle down. And this is a huge platform for Jędrzejczyk.
Yeah, it is, but it doesn't matter. I've consumed fights.
Then we're done.
It's the reality. I've consumed fights to people executives that work at Fight Network and casual fans and so on and so forth. When there's a big star involved, whether it's Brock Lesnar, whether it's George St. Pierre, there's chit-chat. Everybody's preoccupied until the main event comes around. It doesn't matter what the undercard is. People are there for a certain destination. And on Saturday night, the destination is Ronda Rousey. That's when people will be tuning in. Sure, they might casually look over to see Jędrzejczyk and Valerie Letourneau, but people know the reason why they're going to watch the pay-per-view or go to a buddy's place is because Ronda's she's performing.
Yeah, I'm very interested in the co-main. I'm getting more interested all the time because when you look at it, we call vintage pancrase.
Yeah.
And the interesting, right here on Fight Network, we have it in all 32 of our territories. And when we go to call it, it's really fun because you get to see history lessons. You see what the sport looked like 5 years ago and 10 years ago and 15 years ago. Jędrzejczyk, we are all excited about her. She's really fun to watch, and she might become must-see TV. But what are we really seeing? What has she really shown? A killer right hand and a sprawl to defend takedowns. She's Chuck Liddell. She's Chuck Liddell in 2006, and that is the evolution of women fighting at 115 pounds. It is very retro. Val Letourneau is a veteran with a lot of different skills, a lot of different experiences, and more understanding of the whole game. Does that mean she can stop that right hand or take her down? Probably not. Most people couldn't do it to Chuck Liddell, but it makes that fight really interesting for me.
Over in the main event, certainly this is now the new template when it comes to a Ronda Rousey fight, is come up with every conceivable way she could possibly lose this fight, even if it has nothing to do with fighting and it's all stuff that's going on, background noise involving people around her. This particular fight, I don't see it with Holm. What do you look at? What is Holm's strategy here? Because I don't believe she's going to be able to avoid being taken down.
Well, the biggest thing, and this is the thing, and I keep repeating this because we want you to understand that we thought Kat Zingano was going to get crushed in 30 seconds, and we knew Bethe Correia was going to get crushed in 30 seconds. Why is this different at all? The biggest reason it's different at all is because there's an actual plan. None of those girls had plans. Kat Zingano, the worst place you can be is chest to chest with Ronda Rousey. Kat Zingano decided to run up and give her a hug.
Well, was that her plan? Did they feel...
They had a plan. Kat just discarded the plan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So in the moment, whatever you were thinking, I'm going to circle, I'm going to fake take, whatever, your brain was overloaded, I'm going to go grab her. The worst thing you can do. Bethe Correia's plan was, I'll show you I'm tougher, I'm going to walk over and punch you. Second worst thing you can do. In this game, and people may not want to hear this idea, but the same team that brought you Condit versus Diaz, hit that front leg and circle out. Circle away from the power. Stay away from the power hand. Fight at distance. Snooze out the
25
crowd.
minutes.
25 minutes of snoozing out the crowd. The same people who brought you Condit versus Diaz is bringing you Holm versus Rousey. That's the plan. You may not like it. It may not work. But at least there's a plan.
Yeah, and then the idea of, people talking about the takedown defense and the getting up abilities. People say, oh, she's not going to be able to stop Ronda's takedown. Well, just like we saw Conor McGregor couldn't really stop Chad Mendes, but he kept getting up. And Glover Teixeira and Pat Cummins, too. If you can't stop the takedown, that's fine. Just keep getting up. And when you get up, you got to punish your opponent. But like Robin said, if Holm just plays that touch game where it's all about points, there could be a fight there. But, the question I have to ask is, when you look at all the other things that are going on in Ronda's life, the photo shoots and the movie opportunities, while she's out doing those things, Holm's doing skill development. She's gaining all the skills. So it's interesting. She knows how to work hard. She's been a champion of boxing, so she knows what it takes.
When I hear Holm's coach, Izzy Martinez, say, hey, we're not going to beat her in a judo match. This isn't a submission match. I mean, it's just, to me, it's like that's such an integral part of the game that even if you're not providing lip service, that, hey, Holly's got a ground game and no one's seen it yet, nothing to that effect. It's this fight, She has to keep it standing. And this is not someone that is going to knock Ronda Rousey out either. This is going to be an endurance test if Holly Holm is somehow going to win this fight.
You know what else you could do as her and her team? You could say, yeah, man, we got to keep this off the ground. We can't win a submission game. We can't win a judo or a grappling game. But you know they're thinking it. You know they're in there. You know they're training it. You know they've been working on it. She's been training for this fight for 3 or 4 years. The 2 UFC fights she had were exact dress rehearsals. There were way better ways to beat both those girls, but she wanted 30 minutes of the game plan dress rehearsal, and all that time they've been working on arm bars. All that time they've been working on the judo game. All of it. And why not make us forget about it and Ronda forget about it, so that in Ronda's mind, if I can just take her down, I'll win the fight. There's a big, for us, just did an interview recently with Killing Buddha, I think the website was called, and he said, if you really knew for a fact you were going to win a fight, would you train that hard? Would you really train that hard? I mean, that's why George got beat by Sarah. If Ronda's thinking that, if she believes all of this, she is the greatest of all time and no one can beat her, if she really believes that, and somebody else who believes that they're the greatest is training that hard, we might have a fight. Then again, it might be over in 20 seconds.
I think Ronda does believe that because she trains so hard.
Quickly, after this fight, Ronda will probably disappear for some time. Next year, she's got multiple movie projects on the go. I think there's like 4 or 5 of them. How much are we looking at Ronda's activity next year and beyond? I think we're down into the last number of fights, realistically, that are out there for Ronda.
Well,
I think she fights once next
Ronda's
year.
the show. It doesn't matter. You can just keep finding opponents on 135 pounds. People are going to tune in to see Ronda do her thing. But Robin and I have been talking to a lot of fighters, and the idea of exit strategy after mixed martial arts, that might come sooner for Ronda because of all these opportunities. You can't get punched in the head or hurt in the gym forever.
Yeah, even if she makes $15 million on this, if she's making $16 million on a movie and falls in love with that craft just as much as the craft of fighting, it is your exit strategy.
All right, coming up on Saturday night, we will have a live pre-fight show kicking off at 7 p.m. Eastern Time with the 3 of us as well. We'll be joined by Gabe Morency, getting set for UFC 193, and then immediately after the main event, you'll want to tune back here for an extensive post-fight show. We will be going into the wee hours of Sunday morning, dissecting the card, and we will bring you the post-fight press conference.